Greetings, everybody!
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the MineZ podcast. I am Shaymin Plays,
I'm Shrauger.
I'm plusouplus.
and we are going to be your hosts for the first ever MineZ podcast. Woo!
Let's go.
Yay.
Okay, in this podcast, we're going to be talking about multiple things MineZ. We're going to be talking about the community, and we are going to be talking about all the upcoming changes and all of the announcements that are made by the staff team. Any news related to the game, you're going to find here on our talk show. So, let's start by introducing the hosts. So I am Shaymin Plays, as I said, and I am kind of a casual player. I don't really have a specific play style. I like to do all sorts of things. What about you, Shrauger?
Well, personally, I like to trade with other players, but most of all, I love to heal players, like teach new players how to play, what's good loot, what's not good loot. All that kind of stuff is fun for me.
And Plus?
So my playstyle is more like about dungeons and trade, but like mostly dungeons. So I like to get new players into the game, or like train new players of MineZ to just learn them to do some dungeons with me, so they can actually be good at dungeons and be part of the dungeon community.
Cool. So, as you can see, we've got variety in this show. So you've got all of our opinions from all over the community. We've got the dungeoneers, we've got the healers, we've got the traders, and we've got the casual player.
We just missed the PvPer, but yeah.
Yeah,
We got the brand out there anyway.
I'm teetering on the PvP side, but I'm not big on it. I don't like go to Hassa. Speaking of Hassa, let's tell the audience more about ourselves by giving a few facts of trivia. Since we mentioned Al Hassa, let's talk about our favorite locations. I'll start. My favorite location is Yongton Abbey, because that is where I spent most of my time for the first few years playing the game. I got into the game through Ant Venom, and when he finished his series, he ended at Yongton Abbey. So I used to go there a lot. What about you, Shrauger?
When I first came back to MineZ about 2015, 2016 at a time frame, I really was interested in new locations, and I didn't see a lot, but I saw Clar's. I really wanted to make it mine, make it anyone else's. It was great. I love to show new people and old people alike the town.
Plus, what's your favorite town?
Yeah, mine might seems not original, but it's actually Elm, because it's the PvP place that were used the most in the EU tournaments, the Yellow Sunday. So that's the place I spent most of my time in, like 2013, 14, and 15. So that's actually nostalgic for me.
It's the only place you can get Isla mail as well. So it's also it's also got the unique factor of having its own special item. So that's kind of cool. Let's have one more question to kind of explain our interests.
Oh, something like legendary?
Yeah, legendaries. What's your favorite legendary, Shrauger?
I love the ninja sandals. Yeah, just getting hit by those and then get a speed boost. It's nice.
Yeah, it's a good speed boost as well. Is it speed 2? Or
I think it's speed 2.
It's speed 2.
Yeah, that's really good as well. It's like a good item for PvP. What about you, Plus?
I actually have two. Like, I have the rabbit feeds because it's actually useful in some dungeon to show some shortcuts and stuff, or like to just the heal bow to just heal people without bringing a lot of potions. That's pretty good.
Yeah, my favorite has to be the lone sword, because if you ever attended any of the events that were hosted by the staff that I were in around about 2017, 2018, you would know about the Shaymin's lone sword meme. You would know that I had a custom iron sword that's called a Shaymin's lone sword, and it kind of became my favorite legendary through the meme. Yeah. So, now that we've kind of got through the introduction, do we want to move on to the content of today's podcast?
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about our topics.
Oh, yeah. So, first of all, let's talk about the upcoming changes as announced by the admins. Recently, the lead developer of Shopbo, Doc Code Sharp, has announced his plans to introduce a PvP border in MineZ, where basically, any time you are below, or if you are south of negative 100Z, is it negative 100Z?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
subject to change after, but yeah.
Yeah. But for the moment, Doc's plan is if you are ever below negative 100Z, you will be immune to PvP. So basically, the entirety of the South and all of its coastal towns will be free of PvP. However, it's not just the coastal towns that will be affected. There are also towns like Mount Longton and there's another town, Heartless Mansion, and
Yeah, Conceal
Concilia,
University, Evergreen, and stuff.
Huntsgrove as well, I think.
Yeah,
I
it's zero. It's zero.
Definitely. Let's go.
yeah, I just can't imagine like going to Huntsgrove and there being no PvP. It's like it's great that we're finally getting a PvE location because that promotes like healing and group recruitment and community events down south where people don't need to worry about getting killed and they can just get on merrily with their event. But it seems weird to me that, all of these towns where, as we're all like very old, very experienced players, we're kind of used to being killed in these spawn towns. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think there are some like spawn towns that needs to be PvE, such as like the basic one, Greendale, Portsmouth, Romero, Carmi, Guzzon.
Yeah.
But like some places like doesn't really need this, like Unsgrove, so they might need to like change Unsgrove, like put it a little bit more north, or just put the PV line at Z0. So actually, places like Mount Loganton, Unsgrove, or like even Evergreen will still have PvP. I think that will be fine, I guess.
Yeah. What about you, Shrauger?
Well, I definitely think PvE should be introduced to a location, Donnie's Dungeon Practice, but I don't think it should be introduced to the whole game. Am I allowed to say why it's being brought up or no?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so the reason why the PvE line is being suggested is to help new players just be familiar with the game mechanics, which is cool. But also a tutorial does that. Playing with a friend does that. And I really think the PvE line takes away the freedom that players would be able to enjoy, whether or not to kill a player. Having that freedom is taken away. Like, maybe this guy never kills someone. Maybe this guy always kills someone. But, you still have a choice when there's no PvE line.
Yeah, it is like a common fear by the admins, it seems, that the issue with new players is that they come and then they die really quickly and then they get fed up with dying. But the thing is that it's part of the game. Like, banditing is part of the game. And yeah, you can go up north and still get killed, but it kind of, I don't know, it just feels weird having, experienced the PvP and the KOS meta, and it's like, back in Shopbo's prime, you used to walk into a spawn town and there would be like 3 or 4 people who killed you. I don't know. It's like the new players who come in won't get the same experience that we did.
I mean,
Well,
I think the community of Minecraft has changed now. So there are more servers now on Minecraft. So basically, if they are getting chain kill, like they're gonna more likely leave the server than what we did in the past because we didn't have a lot of servers to join.
Yeah.
but like I've heard some arguments from like against that PV line that might actually be true, such as yes, she will be safe in South, but she will probably like gear up 40 minutes in the spawn towns and then just go north to just get killed quickly, and that might just be annoying for them as well. So I think the best thing is like to test it, but I'm not sure. What do you think?
Well, I feel like the South is definitely going to be treated as a cradle for new players, and people are going to be camping the PVE line. Once people
Yeah.
cross it, they'll get fought over. And we haven't said this yet, but there will most likely be a timer from when you can cross back, which is cool. That's necessary, but players leaving their cradle for the first time might not like that. All the freedom that they were missing out on, you know.
Yeah. And also the weird thing is that Mount Longton has a military rare chest, I think it is. So theoretically you could get iron armor within the confines of the PvE zone.
And someone will.
Theoretically, yes, but like I think it was Doug that talked about something like reducing the like you know you can get Splash 2 in Portsmouth or Spontans, but he wants to like if you put the PV line, you just want to like remove Splash 2s
Yeah.
from the Spontans, so maybe like remove the mill rare to put a mill common instead. I don't know. Maybe adjust all the chests.
I think that Doc or the MineZ team in general have interests in nerfing all of the towns. So Mount Longton and all of the spawn towns once the PvE line is set and, you know, they decide on the proper location of where they want it to be. I think it would be quite interesting if there was a toggle similar to like MineZ death messages, like /MZ death messages, the command, where you could have a message that appears in chat when you're approaching the PvE line. So it will say like, warning, you're approaching the PvE line. And I think that would also be cool because there is also the Pigman border where if you cross the negative 200Z line, pigmen begin to spawn. I think it would be cool if that also had like a warning message. Also, another issue with the PvP line is that it also discourages like exploration, and because you're in the safe zone and you know that as soon as you leave the safe zone you're not going to be safe anymore. It's like the reason why I never went further than Yongton Abbey is because I was both unaware that there was somewhere to go beyond, you know, the negative 1200x or Z of Yongton Abbey, but also I didn't know what dangers there would be, and I was scared to do that. But anyway,
I just want to ask, you guys both think it's a numbers thing, right? Like, once we get new players, they don't leave in 5 minutes. It looks good to have more players online.
yeah,
That's it.
Okay.
that's the good thing, is that I feel like even though the new player experience might, you know, be more focused on people spending their days a lot longer than the average player, say, they would spend more time down south in that safe zone. But in the end, it is beneficial to the game, in my opinion, because if the people aren't dying as easily, they're more likely to stay and learn things about the game. So it does actually improve on the fact that it's helping to keep in the new players that arrive to the game. Yeah, anyway, I think that wraps everything up nicely. Let's move on to our break. What have you been up to lately, Plus? What have you been doing in the game recently?
I mean, recently I've been doing like in the month of October the three chests each week, like each weekends that were organized by the staff team. So even if I'm not a PvPer, I was just doing this with some friends, and yeah, I was trying to PvP anyway. And at the same time, of course, I was doing dungeons with my group right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been trying to find new players and like trying to teach dungeons. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. What have you been up to, Shrauger?
A little bit of exploring, trying to help players figure out how to get their alting ban blacklist or whatever appealed. Been working on a spreadsheet to help the Slaughter wiki. I'm trying to get a team together to help me a map expansion for MineZ, community made, of course. Just interesting stuff, you know.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting thing. There is a map expansion coming,
Is there?
or at least it's theorized.
Well,
I think
I don't know.
I mean, it has been confirmed that it's gonna be expanded in the south, or like with that. I think it might be cancelled because of the PvE line. Because the plan was to make like an island south, like a PvE island. But like if there's a PvE line, maybe it's gonna be cancelled. I don't know.
maybe then when this pops up in the future and it draws closer to actually happening, maybe that's a potential debate for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking recently that I kind of want to get a group to do a rebuild of Barathrum Caverns, because it's a place that not many people visit right now. I think that it would be interesting if it was rebuilt to be essentially an underground hell tree, where like it's really complicated and there's a high risk of dying and you've got to travel a long way to get there, but the amount of good loot you get makes the risk and the danger well worth it. I think that there isn't really a town underground that offers that kind of end game location. I think it would be interesting. As well as trying to think of how I want to rebuild Barathrum. I have also been interacting with the community. I've been helping with some wiki team stuff behind the scenes, and I have kind of just been casually playing the game, not really much interesting. Anyway, that's what we've been up to. Do you guys want to see what the community's been up to lately?
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
We have got a highlight of the week, and this is going to be a section of the break where we look at some stuff that the community's been up to and give our thoughts on it. And, if anything stands out to us, then we might show it off in this podcast. For this week, we've got adadkid and Halo. He made another one of his PvP montages recently, and a lot of the PvP montages you see recently are kind of, against a bunch of people who aren't really that competent in PvP, or they're people you might not immediately recognize the names of. So you end up getting these fights and these clips where the people recording are just absolutely destroying their opponent. Whereas in Halo's clips, we've got him killing Rem, we've got him killing Rest in Peace, Pylius, Marcel, Suck My Potato. There are a bunch of obvious names, and a lot of the fights, you can tell the effort went into these fights, and they weren't easy. And we've got 5 minutes of these clips as well, so I think that, with this in particular, Halo has outdone himself with these clips. Let's just show a quick clip of MineZ Clip 16.
What a name.
Hennessy, all that I need, pushing my waves in the sea. I'm heating up, turn up a couple degrees, yeah. Fuck all that shit that you heard of. I know that I make her nervous. They've never seen anybody like this. Killing this shit is a murder. I could just lay any track down. Might as I turn it to gold. If you ain't know, call with the flow. Liquor, we sipping it slow. Rappers like crochet, they're so, yeah, they're okay. Kill them off when I locate. J's on and some gold chains with the gold rings. Got the juice, no OJ. Records on, they rotate, so we ball out like home games, oh yeah.
That was a clip from MineZ Clip 16 by adadkid and Halo. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description. Thank you for giving us permission to show this in the podcast.
A lot of interesting fights, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm quite impressed that he's gone against these multiple well-known people in the community, and he's managed to provide 5 minutes of content. that kind of amazes me.
Yeah, usually you see 1 minute, 2 minute boring stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when I was looking for other potential clips in that we could showcase, there were a lot of montages which were only like a minute or two long, and then I came across this one which impressed me by both the duration and the actual quality of the fight. So yeah, very very impressed. Well done, Halo. Now for the final part of the break, we are planning to just discuss something that we're going to have as a future segment. We can't really have this right now, but we plan to have an advert for your group or your MineZ service if you have a clan or a dungeon group, or if you run a service like a trading service or a PvP or whatever, and you want to get your group known, you want to get you want to promote them. You can speak to any of us. So you can speak to me, Shaymin Plays. You can speak to Shrauger, or you can speak to plusouplus, and we can look into getting you an ad on the podcast. So if you're interested in that, feel free to let any of us know. With that being said, do you guys want to get back onto the content now?
Yeah, sure.
Let's move on to our second debate. All right. So for the second half of the podcast, we are going to be talking about something that's happened in the community recently. About a week or so ago, a streamer from Poland by the name of Graf joined the server, and the count, or the player count, of the MineZ servers actually reached as high as 180 players, which is the most that MineZ has seen for a long time. However, during his stream, as he was patrolling the lands of MineZ, he was attacked by two bandits who we are probably not going to name because that would be a bit impolite.
Well, they probably don't mind.
Yeah, but professionalism.
Okay.
Just professionalism. But stream snipers happened. There's always stream snipers that come along and just ruin a streamer's day. And this actually caused the streamer to quit the server. So these two stream snipers came along, killed the streamer, and he did not continue to play. He quit his session and went on to play chess on his stream. And we didn't see him for a while. And a lot of the people in the community were really upset by this. They were calling for people to start forming groups to hunt down the stream snipers and to kill them on sight. They were asking the stream snipers to be blacklisted. Personally, I don't believe that we should take as extreme of an approach, but I do think that, considering that streamers at this point in MineZ's history have kind of become the main source of MineZ's publicity, I think that to kill them, even if it is fun for you in the moment, is kind of detrimental to the progress and the livelihood of the game. So I'm personally opposed to it, and I don't think that stream snipers should go completely unpunished. But I don't know, a lot of people are opposed to this view. What do you guys think? Do you think the stream snipers should be punished?
Well, I don't really think that stream sniping should be banned, but I also believe that stream sniping should totally be allowed, but I don't like both of that. Like, the issue we get from both of that is we lose Graf and that other guy that had about 60 viewers. We lose all his viewers for MineZ. We miss out on the players he gets. Like, I think it should be part of the experience. I don't think we should tell streamers to add a delay, because that's difficult on its own.
Yeah, it makes it harder for the streamer to interact with their fans, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Plus, what do you think?
Go ahead, plus.
I mean, I kind of agree with Shrauger in the fact that, like, yeah, you can't really punish stream snipe because it's part of the game. And like, if you punish stream snipe, you will, yeah, some people will also create some live streams to like just say, okay, I got killed during my live stream. I want to get revived, or just to ban the one that killed me because it's stream sniping. So yeah, it actually will create some dramas by doing this. But yeah, I think it's like just not about rules. It's more about like player have to think about it. Like, yeah, it's funny on the moment, but it's gonna just kill the server if, I mean, it's gonna like remove the possibility of getting more community from some streamers that are actually helping the game. But yeah, that's what I was like thinking. Like, it would have been better. Like, you know, where when Zuckles came in the game, like he
Yeah,
made a video at first. So that was actually cool because he didn't get stream time in the video. He just like
yeah,
he got targeted because he was a big YouTuber, but he didn't get stream time. That looked more funnier for him on his POV than the Polish guy. So yeah, I think
yeah.
YouTubers would have been more for like better for an improvement on MineZ than streamers. But yeah, we can't really do anything against the stream side.
The interesting thing that you raise is that Doc was actually looking for a way to prevent stream sniping, and one of his opinions was that streamers should be given some kind of special aid by the admins, such as perhaps immunity or like revive if they die. But then that also raises the issue that anyone can just pick up a live stream and you know, claim immunity and say that, you know, if anyone stream snipes them, they can be, you know, it just raises a bunch of issues. And that's why I kind of think that perhaps giving the streamer immunity is not the way to go. But I think that given that most of the time, if a streamer dies, you've got to assume that it's stream sniping, and you've got to assume that the stream sniper is interested in either just having fun and being selfish and ruining it for everyone else, or they genuinely are trying to harm the server. So you could argue that the solution lies not in protecting the streamer, but rather in punishing the people who harm the streamer. But then that also raises the issue of, well, what if this person comes across the streamer and kills them by chance, not realizing that they're actually in a live stream? There's no way to prove it. It's like there's all sorts of issues. I don't know. It's a weird one. Though the interesting thing is that you also have the issue of streamers killing people, as we saw with Graf's most recent live stream. Even after being stream sniped, he actually returned to the game for a second stream. However, this time, instead of dying to a stream sniper, he actually died because he betrayed someone who he was traveling with and someone who trusted him. So it actually kind of became clear that Graf was actually quite aware, and he was willing to betray someone. So all of a sudden, that kind of strips him of his right to have this kind of streamer immunity, because he's giving people an actual reason to attack him, because it's self-defense.
Preemptive self-defense, of course.
Yeah, it's like that raises its own issue. Is like, once a streamer attacks, do they lose their right or their privilege? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that, you know, should streamers just be given you know, immunity no matter what, or do you just think they shouldn't be given any immunity at all, or do you think it should be like conditional, or?
I mean, rules are like laws. Like they need to be restricted, and then there need to be like some points that we don't really see often, like the case of the streamer betraying some PvPers. But that will be actually interesting to highlight. So actually, yeah, there should be some rules like, yeah, if the streamers attack first, that is, I mean, he doesn't have immunity or anything, but that would be hard to restrict actually.
Yeah, the thing about concrete rules is that I don't think there is like a concrete like method for dealing with this. I really think it is just a case by case situation.
I mean, it's like the alt rule actually. It's case by case. Like a lot of people, like daily, are complaining or just asking in the MineZ Discord for like explanations about that rule, because they're like, yeah, if I log in for, yeah, if I log in for 30 minutes after, or like, yeah, it's actually like weird rules that they need to set up more maybe.
And then it all just becomes too complicated.
Yeah.
It's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have anything to add, Shrauger?
I just don't think streamers should be given that much of special treatment because it takes away from the experience. Like, if there's gonna be a rule, it should be for all streamers. But I don't really think there should be a huge rule.
Yeah. It's a complicated one. I'm still not fully sure how I stand with that situation.
Same. We'll see in the future actually. I've seen some people that were like, okay, but like, don't make rules against stream snipe, but you can just pay some YouTubers or streamer to come, so even if they get stream snipe or killed, they will not be upset because they're paid for it. But I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, we have been talking for a very long time. This is going to end up being a very long pilot episode. So, we're going to end it here. Were you guys satisfied with the pilot? I'm very happy with how this has gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I have hopes for this series, and I think that, you know, we've achieved our goal of this being the kind of thing where you can really just, you know, sit down and just listen to it rather than having to actually watch it. It's like something that you can have in the background while you're playing a game, and, you know, it's just nice. I know that I'm personally going to enjoy looking back on this and, you know, listening to all the stuff we've had about, or all the stuff we talked about. It kind of makes for a nice time capsule, doesn't it? But anyway, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you to everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed us talking for an extraordinary amount of time. We are going to kind of have a flexible schedule with how we push these out. Like, they're not going to be a weekly thing. We're rather going to do these when, you know, a good amount of recent news and, like, current affairs are, you know, in the air and they're up for discussion. So whenever there's something going on in MineZ, you can be sure to, you know, come check out the channel and, you know, hear what we have to say. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate your company. My name is Shaymin Plays.
My name is Shrauger.
My name is plusouplus.
And thank you for watching the Shotbow podcast. Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye.
Oh, my screen has just gone off. Hello?